From Hollywood, it's everybody's game of strategy, knowledge, and fun. It's Tic-Tac-Toe. And now, here's our host, Sweet Martindale.
Thank you very much, Charlie O'Donnell. Out of here. Hey, welcome to our show. Nice to have you with us.
Rest in peace to the illustrious Wink Martindale. Anthology on the bad, short-lived, and forgotten shows and events in TV history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Episode 551, submission number 878, David Cassidy, Man Undercover. David Cassidy, Man Undercover, not to be confused with David Cassidy, Undercover Boss, aired on NBC from November 2nd, 1978 to July 12th, 1979 for 10 episodes.
Buckle up, guys. This is going to be one hell of a ride.
Nowadays, when you think about a young 20-something police officer, you think of one of two shows. Either The Mod Squad with Rashida Jones's mama, or 21 Jump Street, either the Fox TV show or the movies with Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. This show sort of has a similar premise, except for where you have a team in Mod Squad or 21 Jump Street, you have a single officer, more or less. A young 20-something police officer who could easily pass as a teenager who goes undercover to flesh out the youth criminal element.
So in other words, this is Frank Cannon if Frank Cannon was half the age and half the weight.
And also half the hair. Actually, no, double the hair. I'm sorry. David Gerber, a master of the police procedural in the 70s and 80s, had an idea to put this into practice. But who do we cast as the lead? It would have to be a youthful 20-something that could pass as a teenager. Enter the backdoor pilots.
So wait, how did they make a backdoor pilot out of this?
I have it from the Paley Center, an installment of NBC's Police Story, an anthology regarded as one of television's most realistic police dramas. Stars none other than the Partridge Family's David Cassidy. This installment, a 2-hour movie titled A Chance to Live, follows Officer Dan Shea, played by Cassidy, an undercover cop who infiltrates a high school drug ring. Shea quickly befriends the school suppliers, but finds that separating his life as a narcotics officer from his undercover facade is harder than anticipated. Originally airing in 1978, this was Cassidy's first post-Partridge performance and earns the actor an Emmy nomination for Best Dramatic Actor. So he is trying to, like any teen idol of that age, graduate into a more mature role. That episode of Police Story had enough positive buzz and did presumably enough numbers to warrant a series around this premise. Like I said before, David Cassidy plays LAPD Detective Dan Shea, a member of an elite team of undercover cops sent to infiltrate youth crime operations as a student, either high school or college, or maybe community college, or whatever the situation would warrant. Although he's good at his job, he struggles to balance work and home life with a wife and daughter. This would be his first regular series role since the cancellation of the Partridge Family. Cassidy was 28 when the show premiered. The boss, Abrams, is played by Simon Oakland, who was last seen in Baba Black Sheep, Toma, and previous entry Kolchak the Night Stalker. Either a lieutenant or a sergeant, depending on the episode, Abrams differs from Shea in a lot of ways. Shea sees police work as rehabilitative, while Abrams is as tough on crime as you can get. Dan's wife, Joanne, is played by Wendy Rastatter, and looking at her IMDb, this is about as good as her career will get. The role was previously played in the Police Story episode by Dee Wallace, who we talked about in previous entries, Together We Stand, and Nothing Is Easy. But for reasons unknown, they had to recast. While supportive of Dan's career, she wishes that he wouldn't bring the job home with him. And recurring castmates include Michael Salcido as teammate Detective Paul Sanchez, Ray Vitti from The Quest as Detective TJ Epps, both part of Shea's undercover unit, and Elizabeth Redden as Shea's young daughter, Cindy. This is her only role. She's out there living a normal life. God bless her for it. That being said, let's go over the many cases of David Cassidy, Man Undercover. Episode 1, Running the Hill. A detective suspects his superior in an elite division is a vigilante. His superior, one Lieutenant Mitchell, played by Joe Santos, best known for 109 episodes of The Rockford Files and 7 of The Sopranos.
We did talk about him in the past, though, because he was on, I'm guessing, if not the entire run, most of the run of AKA Pablo. One of those horrible shows from back in the early 80s.
It made Mario Lopez's career, you know.
I thought Candy Crush did. I think Chico faded from that reference.
Remember when they made a game show out of Candy Crush?
Not even Mario Lopez's adept hosting skills could save that dreck. I'm sorry. Episode 2, Baby Makes 3. Officer Shea goes undercover as a college student to break up a black market baby-making racket. Hello.
You know what? If this episode was made today, you know who the villain would be? Nick Cannon.
I was gonna say Elon Musk, but I'm glad you went there. Oh my gosh. Buy a damn condom, Nick.
Neil Bowen, who is the heel of this episode.
Oh, we'll just call him Nick Cannon if he's the heel in the episode.
Well, I want to know what Nick Cannon's finishing move is if he was the heel.
I don't want to know what his finishing move is.
You know what? Maybe I could create Nick Cannon in 2K25 and give him like the BB Maker as his finishing move.
And would there be some sort of Royal Rumble between all his kids?
Sure.
The heel in this episode, Neil Bowen, played by Ty Hardin, best known for 26 episodes of Riptide. Not that Riptide, but another Riptide.
Did that have a robot?
It was the 60s, so if it did have a robot, it was probably a suit actor voiced by Dick Tufeld.
I'm looking. I want to see what this is about. A charter boat operator who happens to be an American is also a bit of a private investigator. So you know what? Well, I know Riptide wasn't a charter boat operation, but maybe there's some parallels there. Plus, also, it wouldn't have been a robot in 1968, 1969. It would have been one of those punch card readers. But actually, another credit that I think he's better known for, because we certainly didn't know there was a Riptide in 1969 until Chico just mentioned it. He played Bronco, the title character, on the TV show Bronco. I believe that reruns on like Grit TV or something like that.
I believe you're right. Either Grit or Heroes and Icons or something like that.
Yeah, it might be one of those shows that H&I shows on Sunday mornings, because I know they enjoy showing one of the weekend days, one of the weekend mornings, either Saturdays or Sundays. They love showing Westerns.
Also, as Diane Marsh in this episode, Randy Oakes, who played Bonnie Clark, officer on a motorcycle, on 68 episodes of Chips.
And one more name. Playing Myers in this episode is Craig Stevens. I just talked about how the one guy played Bronco, the title character in Bronco. Craig Stevens played another title character. He was Peter Gunn in Peter Gunn.
And we all know that epic Henry Mancini theme that we learned while we were all playing Spy Hunter in the 80s.
Do 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 do.
I think that was one of those TV themes that we learned in band or even marching band back in high school. And I don't think anybody, when I was in high school, mind you, 37 years ago, knew what the hell Peter Gunn was. But we knew that theme because we played it.
Episode 3, Cage of Steel. Shay goes undercover in a maximum security prison to nab a crime boss whose reach extends beyond prison walls. Name in this episode, playing character named Clary, Vincent Bufano, who played Rick Alessi in Eyeshide, and Turtle Romero in Flatbush.
Another name in this episode playing Kevin, no last name given, is Vince Howard. He played police officer Vince on Emergency, 51 episodes. Plus, he was on 9 episodes of The Streets of San Francisco, which is
A Quinn Martin production.
Yeah, damn right it is.
Can we say what Chico is wearing?
So 2 weeks ago, I was wondering if there was a shirt that exists that says a Quinn Martin production. Jason Block, God bless him, found the store with the Quinn Martin production shirt. I ordered one. I ain't even mad.
Now we need to have like a shirt that has like the part from Canon where like after it says Canon, you have William Conrad's face, like where it says starring William Conrad, he just turns his head up.
I'd rather have a shirt of William Conrad belly bumping somebody into a pool.
The heel in this episode, a guy by the name of El Lobo. You would expect him to be a mestizo, but no, it's Frank Converse from Moving On and Anne of Avonlea.
Did he make the shoes?
No.
Greg, come on. Chuck Taylor made the shoes. Come on.
Frank Converse. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Episode 4, Deadly Convoy. Shay and his partner go undercover to bust an outlaw motorcycle gang. You know you're in for an episode when he mistakenly gets arrested in the first 5 minutes by stupid county sheriffs.
Oh, so it's a crossover with the Dukes of Hazzard?
Oh, nice.
I'm not wrong, though.
A couple names in this episode playing Otis, Gary Graham. We talked about him in previous century Alien Nation.
Now hold on a second, guys, because Gary Graham actually appeared in a season 2 episode of Knots Landing. He shows up in an episode of Knots Landing season 2 where there's like a group of robbers that infiltrate Ginger's baby shower, which segues us to the amazing discovery I made during season 3.
Now here's the host of Amazing Discoveries, Mike
Klaus.
With Greg Diener.
Now, guys, there's an amazing discovery I encountered during season 3 of Knots Landing. Karen Fairgate's old boyfriend, Teddy, comes into town right after her husband has passed away. And do you know who plays the boyfriend? The old boyfriend? Mike, are you ready for this? You're not ready for this.
No, I'm in my chair. I can handle it, I think.
Okay, here we go. Terry Kaiser.
Oh my God!
He was actually alive for this role?
Yes.
Not even joking. Terry Kaiser, I think, is semi-active on, like, the con circuit. Because I've seen pictures of him signing autographs at different cons recently. And it's like, come to Cleveland. I really would love to get an autograph of you. But no, the Comic-Con that comes to Cleveland, the Wizard Con or whatever it's called.
Wizard World?
Whatever, I don't care. That con gets, like, I don't think Andrew Garfield, but they get the stars of the current MCU movies or DC movies. It's like, be like another con and get, like, some older people that we might recognize. Yeah, I'm sure William Zabka has done enough cons where the people who want his autograph have his autograph.
Don't you know, Mike? Cobra Kai never dies.
I get that, but he's just an example because I know William Zabka does a lot of cons. But mix it up a little bit. Get some older people that, I wouldn't say I'm an old person, maybe in a relative sense, but get somebody that I might enjoy who doesn't go to MCU movies and doesn't care about DC. Get some old pop culture people. Get people who are in Americana. Get like a Vicki Lawrence. Yeah, I've already gotten Vicki Lawrence's autograph, but people like that.
Guys, I need to mention something. There's a convention out here in Brentwood in November. Do you know who they announced is going to be at the convention? Catherine Bach.
You could ask her who's her favorite, Byron and Chip or Tom and John.
Well, we all know what the answer is going to be, guys. So why should I even try?
Let me ask you a question. Since Catherine Bach is there, by chance are Tom Wopat or John Schneider going to be there?
I don't know, but you know what? I'm just there for Catherine Bach. I couldn't care less.
Greg, she's probably like 75 now. Calm down. She's not 25 any longer. She's got varicose veins. And she's not going to wear those shorts, Greg.
Wait, hold on. Did we mention Chico during the Knots Landing run? I've made it to the part where Gary's back on the sauce.
Oh no, Gary's on the shit. We're all doomed.
Look, do not give Gary Ewing any whiskey whatsoever. He's going to turn into like Mr. Hyde. Just don't do it.
I will mention, I don't know if this has happened in a season that you're currently watching or one that you're about to watch, but Val throws Gary out the house and Gary lands up on the shit again. And I could mention it to Keisha, and you and her can have a running conversation about that.
You know what? Considering the plans we have, I think this would be fun. Me and Kiesel talking about Knots Landing. I think the people would love to hear this.
Damn it, guys. Spoilers. I haven't seen these episodes in the last 43 years.
We didn't even get to the second name here.
Now, I have to say, this guest star has the right stuff.
Ha!
He looks good in black.
He's good with a paintbrush, maybe?
Playing Ben in this episode, Ed Harris.
And really, what can you say about Ed Harris? I mean, come on.
Well, you referred to the right stuff, and I referred to Pollock.
I referred to Westworld.
Apollo 13.
Needless to say, he's done a ton of big things.
This is a long one, so buckle up, like Mike says. Episode 5, Flashpoint. Shay roams the streets of downtown LA in the 70s to find a serial killer who's been targeting young prostitutes, trying to make it in the entertainment business. A young Heather Thomas has just recently arrived at the LA scene, hoping to make it as a professional model. Young, attractive, and penniless with big dreams, she could end up becoming the killer's next victim.
Isn't this the plot of Maxine?
Pretty much, yeah. Heather Thomas, she plays a character by the name of Carol Manning, and you know what we say about Heather Thomas. When you can't get Heather Locklear, hire Heather Thomas.
I will not take that slander regarding the Fall Guy.
Yeah, the Fall Guy. We love the Fall Guy. We love the TV show. We love the recent Ryan Gosling movie.
Another name's playing Sergeant Morgan, Michael Bell. You probably don't remember the name, but you probably remember the voice. He played, among other things, Prowl in the Transformers. He was in Ratchet and Clank. He played Quackerjack on the DuckTales reboot.
Not to be confused with the mascot of the Long Island Ducks, who's also named Quackerjack. Oh, wait, Mike, you mentioned something about the Long Island Ducks, which I did not expect you to break any Long Island Ducks Atlantic League news, but you did.
I'm surprised you're even bringing this up, but earlier today I saw that former Guardians pitcher, who was actually supposed to be really good at one point, Zach Plesac, signed with the Long Island Ducks. His career went straight down the toity after the COVID season. Probably didn't help he did some really stupid stuff during the COVID season because he's one of those deniers.
Oh.
So he sort of got what he deserved. My opinion, I'm sorry.
Well, certainly fit in well with some certain people here in Long Island.
He was also the voice of Drew Pickles and Chaz Finster Sr. in Rugrats and the follow-up Rugrats films. I remember hearing him first as Lance, the pilot of the Red Lion on Voltron.
Now, Drew Pickles is much bigger to me.
And playing Sergeant Ostro, who is underwhelmed by the squad of youths on his police force, Christopher Stone, who played Chris McCullough in 48 episodes of The New Lassie.
When you said the new law, I thought you were going to say the new Warriors Club.
I thought you were going to say the new Love American Style.
Hey guys, you want to hear me sing the Love American Style theme?
Yes!
All right. Are you ready, Mike? You ready for me to sing the Love American Style theme?
Just go.
Love American Style, truer than the red, white, woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Love American Style.
Is that all you know? Not the next line, you know, love like me and you, or whatever it is, or just me and you.
This would be the worst game of the next line ever. I didn't do that show.
Oh my gosh! Oh no! We've really dug down the rabbit hole this week. Oh my gosh!
Hey, Greg, you want to talk about all the episodes of Knots Landing you watched? I did that earlier, okay? Ghost of Bill Armstrong. Get out of here. God. The Ghost of Bill Armstrong. You know, for someone who we thought was going to be a one-note character, he sure loves to show up a lot.
For some reason, Greg, I blame you.
Here's a plot that could resonate with audiences in 2025. Episode 6, RX for Dying. A drug lab bust leads to a doctor giving illegal prescriptions for methamphetamines and barbiturates to teenagers. Playing the bad doctor, Dr. Dewhurst, Barry Nelson from The Shining, Airport, and
Where did we talk about him?
JJ Starbuck.
Besides that.
Here's Boomer.
Besides that.
The episode of Climax from Casino Royale where he played James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
He was the first James Bond, exactly. I was just hoping that you'd go through another title that he was on, and me and Greg in unison say, and what else?
As we talked about when we talked about him in Climax, he's been in a lot of things. He is the classic, that guy from That Thing. His daughter Melinda, played by Deborah Ryan, who, within a year of appearing on this episode, would appear with Sean Cassidy playing Jackie Ryan in the Acapulco Spies episode of the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew Mysteries. And then as Bobby Adams with David Cassidy's then wife Kay Lenz in The Initiation of Sarah, which is a made for in 1978.
2 more names. Playing Densmore in this episode is Ed Nelson. Probably best known for playing Michael Rossi on 514 episodes of Peyton Place back in the 60s. But I remember he made numerous appearances on TV shows in the 80s, and I even remember he did a week of Body Language in the 80s. He was on 21 episodes of Capital, so that explains why he was on Body Language. But another name playing Cross in this episode is Frank Aletter. The biggest credit I see is, and oh my gosh, I think this is going to be one of those episodes that we need to cover eventually. He played Mac on 26 episodes, which is the whole run of It's About Time. We talked about that show, one of the worst shows of all time, where 2 cavemen basically time travel into modern times with Joe E. Ross and Imogene Coca. But also a little better connection, if you will. He's the father of Kyle Aletter, who was a model on The Price is Right. And, hold on a second, his wife, at least at one time, was Lee Merriweather.
Hold on. You know what Lee Merriweather was on?
The Monsters Today.
Match Game 70. Wait, no, Match Game 73.
She was on Barnaby Jones.
And she was on Match Game 74, and Match Game 75, and Match Game 76, and Match Game 77. No, she probably didn't do Match Game in 78 or 79.
But the important thing you need to remember, Mike, is that Barnaby Jones was
A Quinn Martin production.
Except if it's the final season in 79-80, it was
A QM production.
Yeah.
I think I told you guys this privately, but last night's Canon rerun on MeTV was a crossover episode with Barnaby Jones. And it was a 2-part episode, and part 2 is airing tonight. Hopefully I don't have insomnia, so I can actually miss the second part of the 2-part episode, but one of those fun things that I saw this morning at like 3:30. Oh my gosh, it's Barnaby Jones and Canon working together.
Episode 7, Firestorm. Shay pursues an arsonist hired by owners seeking insurance money. Among the guest stars in this episode, playing Detective Norland, Frank Campanella, Pops from Pretty Woman.
No relation to Roy Campanella, right? Because as we've established on this podcast, your sister does not know who Roy Campanella is.
No relation to Roy Campanella, but the older brother of Joseph Campanella, who we talked about in the Colbys.
Obviously not related to Roy Campanella, Greg. Look at the picture.
Oh.
Playing Joel Hill, Royce D. Applegate, Buckwalter from Splash, and Chief Manilow Crocker from Sequest. Episode 8, Teammates. Federal agents ask Shay's help to trap an arms dealer. And oh, doctor, does this episode have some guest stars. Playing Holman, J.J. Sanders, who was on all 14 episodes of Salvage 1, and, because Greg is watching Knots Landing, 4 episodes of Dallas.
You know what? I might as well watch Dallas too. I could get into the whole Dallas extended cinematic universe.
Playing Spanner, James Whitmore Jr., who is in 23 episodes of Black Sheep Squadron and was a director of 23 episodes of Hunter in the 80s and 12 episodes of The Good Wife not too long ago. He is still active. He's directing NCIS now.
Oh, that's great.
Playing Vicky, Jenny O'Hara. Nowadays, you can catch her on the Hulu miniseries Good American Family. Jenny O'Hara is just one of those ladies who's been in everything. And playing Golden in this episode, Norman Alden. We talked about him in the original Electra Woman and Dinah Girl, the one with Deirdre Hall and Judy Stranges that led to the pilot with Marky Post in it.
Hey, say what you will about that pilot, but at least it was more entertaining than watching Jane Wickline on SNL, am I right? That's going to be our new running joke on this podcast.
Another credit for Norman Alden that I want to add is he was Aquaman on Super Friends. And Super Friends currently reruns on MeTV Tunes. So he was the wussiest superhero on Super Friends. I'm sorry. Aquaman didn't really become sexy until Jason Momoa did it.
And now he's in the #1 movie in America, Jason Momoa. Can you believe Minecraft made that much money at the box office?
The kids love their Minecraft. Seriously, besides Minecraft, the only other game that kids really enjoy nowadays, it seems, is Roblox and Fortnite.
Oh, don't worry. We will probably get a Fortnite eventually one of these days.
Seeing how Minecraft did, I would not be surprised one iota.
I mean, when Sabrina Carpenter is in freaking Fortnite even, you know how big of a game this is.
Next to last episode, folks, Night Work. Shay's involvement with the madam during an undercover job irritates Joanne.
Involvement.
You know what? Let's not mince words here. Dan Shay is going undercover as a pimp.
David Cassidy working for that F money, trying to get those breadsticks, I guess.
And that leads to the final episode. Death is a close friend too. While investigating bank thefts, Dan Shay befriends a drug addict and a prostitute.
Another prostitute?
There must have been a really bad sex worker problem in the 70s. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with sex workers, okay?
Right.
Right.
See, Gene agrees with me.
Playing Helen, Rita Taggart, best known as Lenny James in 2001's Mulholland Drive and 13 episodes of Where the Bears Are. Playing Pearl in this episode, Lana Wood.
Oh.
Plenty O'Toole from Diamonds Are Forever.
Named after a father, perhaps. Oh, by the way, these Sean Connery Bond movies are being released in 4K UHD in June.
And that's pretty much all she wrote on this show. So I gotta ask, what happened?
I'm going to go by my theory, and I told this again to Chico and Greg. I actually think I mentioned it a couple of days ago. When I saw David Cassidy, Man Undercover, I thought this was a reality show. Not even joking. I mean, it sounds like a reality show. David Cassidy, Man Undercover. Maybe he was doing that undercover boss thing that Chico joked about earlier in the show. But no, seriously, what happened? Let's take a look at the schedule. I think that's the big thing, and then the ratings. So I do have two vastly different schedules. I have it earlier in the run in 1978, and I have it in 1979, when I'm going to guess it was probably in reruns at this point. The early day I'm looking at, and mind you, it's 1978, but it's literally the last day of 1978, December 31st. You had David Cassidy, Man Undercover airing at 10 p.m. on Thursdays. I'm guessing because this is New Year's Eve, there's some sort of special on CBS. But on ABC, this would have been the second season of Family, and I don't think you're beating it.
You know what was on opposite regular times for Man Undercover? Barnaby Jones.
Hey, we mentioned Barnaby Jones earlier. Kind of coincidental. You have two sort of cop shows going up against each other. And actually, this ABC lineup, I'm looking at it, I don't know how anything is beating any of these episodes. You have Mork and Mindy at 8, What's Happening at 8:30, Barney Miller at 9, Soap at 9:30, and then you got Family at 10. That's a pretty stacked lineup. Now, if we jump ahead to August, some rerun time, mind you. Yes, David Cassidy, Man Undercover was still on Thursday nights, and it was still at 10 p.m., and it did go against Barnaby Jones, as Chico said, but now on ABC, you don't have Family, you have 2020. And again, this is 2020 in its infancy, and we talked about that first episode, which was bizarre. Not the 2020 we've known over the last 40 years or so.
Hey, courage. We're all in it together.
Right. I do have a couple weeks of ratings, so maybe we can see if we can figure out why this didn't work. The first week of ratings I have is for the first week of November of 1978. And out of 60 shows, and mind you, a lot of the shows are election returns because this is the first full week of November. But out of 60 shows, and actually, I'm sorry, there's 71 shows. They actually condensed this. It says 60 through 71 election returns in NBC and ABC. And just, like I said, looking at this, election returns occupy basically like the last 20 positions on this. Nobody wanted to see election returns in 1978. But anyhow, David Cassidy, Man Undercover, tied for 48th with Alice. And in a non-election week, and actually I think this is the week after, and it is, so this is a week after the elections, out of 55 shows, David Cassidy, Man Undercover, came in tied for last. People would rather just watch Barnaby Jones. Everybody loves Buddy Epson. Everybody loves Lee Merriweather. I don't know if everybody loves Mark Shera, since he would have been on Barnaby Jones at that point. But, yeah, David Cassidy got pounded in the ratings.
Of the 114 shows that aired during the 1978-79 TV season, take a guess where it landed.
Is it fair to assume that the bottom 20 shows are all election returns? I say that jokingly, just because there were like 20 different entries for election returns. I'll say 78th.
Greg?
73rd.
It pulled in, on average, a 12.1 for 99th place.
Yowza!
It beat Making It, but it was sorely beaten by Brothers and Sisters and Turnabout.
Hey, Greg, you want to laugh louder so everybody can hear you laugh?
Yeah, Sharon Glass. Yeah, David Cassidy thought he could beat me. I'm not, because I'm Sharon Glass, and I'm smoking a cigar like a real man.
We talked about the theory that David Cass. What was your theory, Mike?
About the show? That it was a reality show?
Yeah, there's that.
That would have been much better if it was a reality show.
Could have been on VH1 or something.
VH1 wasn't a thing in 1978.
I know, but I'm just saying it sounds like a reality show you'd see on VH1 after I Love New York or something
Oh,
like
God.
that.
Do not.
I think I just did.
So anyway, another theory. The problem might have been David Cassidy himself. You look at him and you do not see a hard-ass police officer. He may have had great chemistry. He may have had impeccable acting. But he was a baby face from the jump, you know? Nobody's going to buy David Cassidy, Keith Partridge, working undercover as a drug runner, a max security prisoner, a biker, an arms dealer, or a pimp.
No, nobody's going to buy David Cassidy as a pimp. You know, Carl Lewis was much more believable as a pimp in that one thing we watched than David Cassidy. Do you remember that, Mike?
Carl Lewis is a pimp?
You remember we saw the thing about how Carl Lewis was a pimp and he slapped somebody?
I don't remember this.
You don't remember this?
I can't say I remember it.
He says something that I can't put on this podcast for obvious reasons.
But lest we forget one X factor here. It's NBC in the middle of 1978. So we cannot talk about this show without talking about Fred Silverman. Before he arrived, NBC scheduled something called Coast to Coast. It was an hour-long sitcom sort of deal, but Fred Silverman didn't want Coast to Coast on the schedule, so he replaced it with something called Web, which was basically network if it was a TV show. That too went up against Family and Barnaby Jones. It did not have a chance. So even with a Quincy lead-in, they had to put something there, and they put Man Undercover that struggled to pull an audience, and when 1979 came around, the show aired once and was put in hiatus until summertime, when it was replaced by previous entry, Mrs. Columbo, which pulled in enough of an audience, amazingly enough, to be renewed.
But yeah, it had Kate Mulgrew in it.
I will buy Kate Mulgrew as an amateur detective before I buy David Cassidy as a professional officer.
You'd agree with us, right, Mike?
Oh, that's legitimate. I was going to chime in and say that's much, much more believable. Yes. Oh, and since we're talking about Kate Mulgrew, she's got a signed card in the Cheers Rittenhouse set.
Yes.
Apparently very hard to find.
In the middle of the season, David Cassidy was allowed to retire with full pension and benefits, and honestly, over time, he would come to relish his role as a teen idol, as many people do in that age. It was never released as a proper home video release, but we have DVDs of various quality that are out there. Reruns appeared sporadically on Nostalgia Television, now YTA TV, in the 1990s. By virtue of its inclusion in the Sony Pictures library, it was available for a time on Crackle, until that went under in 2019. Now, at the time of this recording, all 10 episodes are available right now to stream for free on YouTube.
God bless whoever uploaded that.
So there you have it. David Cassidy in his first real grown-up role. No family band, no Shirley Jones, and unfortunately, no audience. He would come to accept the role of an idol as a career-defining move, and their time undercover as just a thing on TV.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV Podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time.
Well, guys, WrestleMania weekend is upon us. So, to honor WrestleMania coming up in Las Vegas, let's go back to 1998 when pro wrestling was at its hottest, and NBC wanted to expose the great secrets of pro wrestling. I'll be quite honest, guys. I think the most secrets of pro wrestling I want to know is how the hell Dave Meltzer rates matches. That's the only secret of pro wrestling I want to know. That's not that kind of secrets. Okay, they're going to expose the hard-hitting secrets of pro wrestling. So Saturday on this podcast feed, we're going to be bringing you the greatest secrets of pro wrestling being revealed. Are you guys ready for the secrets of professional wrestling being revealed?
I'm here to fight!
I can't wait to see how a senior citizen plays in all this.
I like how you're ready to fight, Chica, like you're Finley. I'm waiting for Swoggle to show up. But we'll be here Saturday when we look at the secrets, and we'll see them finally get revealed to the world right here at It Was a Thing on TV. I'm Greg. That was Chico. That was Mike. And we'll see you with that episode on Saturday. Wow!
Thursday, Dan Che goes undercover to break up a babies for sale racket which uses college co-eds.
How do you custom order a baby?
That's what I'm supposed to find out.
I pay $1,500 when the girl shows up pregnant. You interested, boy?
See David Cassidy, Man Undercover, Thursday on NBC.